So let's talk about DHCP reservations. Now, most of you, if you're watching this video, you know what DHCP reservations are for, but let's talk about that for just a minute. Normally, with an island, you don't have to worry much about IP addresses. I mean, we allocate IP addresses to devices using DHCP dynamically. All of our rules for filtering and device monitoring and so on are all based on the device itself and not on the IP address. It's rare that you have to deal with IP addresses at all when you're running on an island router. Nonetheless, there are times when IP addresses are important. For example, it's fairly common in home automation installations or AV installations where some devices need to have a fixed known IP address. And that's, those of you who've done AV installations before, you know what I'm talking about. There's a couple of ways you can do it. You can assign a static address to the device itself, or you can tell the island what IP address to assign to a given device using DHCP reservations. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So how do we do that on an island? The best and easiest way to do that is to actually go to the device in question. So let's go to the Devices tab on the island. Let's say, for example, that we wanted to assign a fixed IP address to Lee's tab S9FE. So all I have to do is click on that device. I can go down here. Now you'll notice the current IP address is 192.168.106.146. So if I keep scrolling down, you'll notice where it says DHCP reservations. Currently it says none. That means that there is no reservation for that device. So Island will give it whatever IP address it wants to. Now, I will say that Island always does its best to assign the same IP address to a device every time it asks. The only time that doesn't happen is if for some reason some other device already had that address. And that's rarely a problem unless you have oversubscribed your network. In other words, if you have more devices than you have IP addresses on your network, then of course shuffling around is going to happen as devices come on and offline. Nonetheless, if you want to make sure under all circumstances that it always gets the same address, you'll want to assign it a DHCP reservation. So all you have to do is go over here where it says DHCP reservation, click the plus sign for add reservation. Now you'll notice the IP address that shows up in this box is the current IP address for that device. You may want to keep that, or you may want to give it a different one. That's up to you. If you want to give it a different one, that's fine. You can just leave it as is, or you could change the number to whatever you like. Make sure, of course, that it's a valid address on your LAN. Once you have the address that you want, click Save, and you're done. You'll notice now we have a DHCP reservation for that device. It will always get 192.168.106.146. Now, let's say you want to delete that reservation. All you have to do is go back into this screen, click on the reservation itself, and then simply click on the little trash can icon here in the upper right. It says Remove DHCP reservation. We click Remove, and that reservation is no longer there. And that's all there is to DHCP reservations.